Hi, guys. Welcome back to Living Your Best Life. It's Sunday, and you know what that means. It's time for Sunday Talks. And I am so excited to share my special guest with you guys. Today's topic is going to be: is today's standards of body image acceptable? Hmm. That's a good thought, and we're going to discuss it. So, if you're watching right now on the replay, welcome to my channel. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe to the channel and find me on Instagram. My Instagram is _ best life crew. So, I'm excited to show you guys my co-host today for Sunday Talks. It's a delightful _ Dawn. So we're going to get into the topic. I'm going to invite her up and we're going to let her talk about her channel. And then we'll go from there. So welcome to everybody who's here. Let's see if anybody's in the chat. Hi, Donna Love and Marlene Reviews. Okay, so I'm going to invite up my co-host to the stream. Hello. Hi. Hi, Dawn. Welcome to Sunday Talks.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to see you.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm so glad you're one of the first 10 people that I wrote down that I wanted to have on my channel for Sunday Talks.
I am honored.
Great. Okay, I'm going to invite everybody in the welcome everybody in the stream. We have Donna Love and we have It's All Hot Air. Hi, It's All Hot Air. Welcome.
Hey, everybody. Welcome.
Yes, welcome. So I'm going to let you introduce your channel, talk about what you do on your channel, shout out your social media, other social media streams if you have them, and then we can get started.
Okay, dokie. My name is Dawn. My channel name is Delightful _ Dawn. I created my channel for just positivity in a time where I really didn't feel positive about life. So that's like the most majority of what my channel is about. I want to have spread positivity, love. I like reviews. I get a lot of inspiration from actually Marlene because she reviews everything. You
What?
never know. Whenever you were doing your reviews, it was giving me inspiration to do more reviews. So I do want to thank you for that, especially how you're set up. So I do want to shout you out in that moment. But yeah, mostly just body positivity. That's why I created my channel for. My social medias is all delightful _ Dawn. That's Facebook, not Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter. I did start a TikTok, but I don't really use it. That's also Delightful Dawn, but I don't use it.
How do you don't use it?
No, not yet. Not as much as I should.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
So you have Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
I have Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I haven't started the Facebook yet.
Oh, okay.
Like for the channel.
Okay. So everybody go and subscribe to her and join her on all those social media sites.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So today, along with Delightful Dawn, we're going to discuss the topic of is hold on. You guys know anytime you go live, that's when everybody starts calling you. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. Everybody who does social media knows that anytime you're about to do something, that's when everybody decides to call you. So today's Sunday Talks is going to be, is today's standards of body image acceptable? And I wanted to talk about this topic because I feel that in the society that we live, we're constantly bombarded by seeing things. We're overstimulated by seeing, look at this, buy this, look at that. This is in, this is out. we're always constantly bombarded with what we should do and think and say and feel. So I wanted to reach out to my audience and ask them, what do you guys think about body image? So, Dawn, do you have any thoughts on what do you think about body image?
Just general thoughts for body image. I feel like it's something that's constantly being, bombarded on in the regards of social media when it comes to like advertisements. So anything in regards to body image is constantly being thrown at you. Even if it's in a conversation with individuals, someone can walk past and they can look and it can be a sort of judgment of, oh, she's pretty, or oh, look at this. So I think that body image, especially for me, has to do a lot with self-esteem and how you view yourself. So when people think of body image, you think of beauty. So how do you deem yourself beautiful? So I think it's a really broad, topic, but a lot of people deal with body image differently. Especially that's why I think that having a positive view on yourself, and if no one have ever even noticed, if y'all watched Marlene's stuff before, you talk about having that inner beauty and just enjoying like the moment like around you, and that's something that like I get excited for. I love like those positive thoughts and those positive affirmations, because a lot of people don't view themselves as beautiful. They look at an image and they start to kind of manifest a thought of how they think they should look like that person, and sometimes it can be positive and sometimes it can be negative.
Right.
So
Right. And I think it really is based on like the way you were raised and
mm-hmm.
also a mixture of your own thoughts and ideas. But I grew up in a very strict religious family, and like I was always like cover everything up to your neck. So that was what was acceptable. So growing up, and I used to see like in magazines, different people like showing the complete opposite. So I think you have to kind of have your thoughts for yourself. What do you feel comfortable in? You can't really let the media or other people portray what you think is acceptable. You have to be comfortable in your own skin first. You have to be conscious of what looks good on you, because I say that all the time. Just because something is popular and it's out there, what looks good on Dawn may not look good on me. Everybody's body is shaped a different way, and certain things look good on one and it doesn't look good on another. But I want to talk to you guys for a second about. I looked up what the definition of body image was, and it said that it's the perception that a person has of their physical self and their thoughts and their feelings. So it's really, what do you personally think about yourself physically, and you know that's what you portray. Because I see all the time people will say that they love themselves, that they care about themselves, but then they walk around and they have their head down, you know or they're wearing clothes that they really don't feel comfortable in. So all of that, it goes deep inside of yourself. It's what you think about yourself, what you portray out into the atmosphere. So it's a mixture of different things. You kind of have to learn to have a little bit of a balance.
Mm-hmm. I think it was interesting when you talked about your upbringing, because a lot of people that I've known have conservative backgrounds. Like how you said that you grew up in a household like faith build. That's
Right.
how I grew up. So my mom always instilled in us like you have to cover things up or just be mindful of how people are looking at you. And I think that's have a lot to do with like our upbringing. So when we get into that age of kind of like trying to know ourselves, it's hard to differentiate like is who I'm trying to be versus who people who have brought me up want me to be. So I remember one of the things as I got older, I would think that I didn't look because I didn't look like my other sisters. They were more fair skinned, and they looked different. So to me, I feel like I wasn't beautiful. And so my mom will always tell me that beauty starts with inside, and then it shows yourself on the outside. So she was like, "You have a beautiful heart. You are a beautiful girl. You may not look like your siblings, but just know that you are beautiful. You have a good heart. You have to have self worth." So that's funny that you said. I always thought, okay, I want to have self worth. How you said when you walk, and some people used to look down. I used to look down because I didn't want people to notice me. You don't want to get attention from somebody else or have someone possibly come up and say something to you. So you are right. It has to have to do a lot with like self-esteem, just kind of being comfortable or confidence in who you are, because I feel like that has a lot to do with your, like when you grow. So like when you're younger, that's when you kind of filling out who you are and having those positive affirmations in friendships or inside relationships. When you're growing up, that's when you kind of find out who, like who is Dawn. So when I was in high
Right.
school, I was very quiet, like super duper, like to the point people wouldn't notice me. And so when I would have friends, they're like, "You just need to just come out your shell, talk to people," and it was hard because you don't feel comfortable being who you are in front of people, especially you don't want to get judged. So the judgment sometimes overshadow that you wanting to be authentic to yourself. And so a lot of times when I went to college, that's when I kind of like flourished a little bit because I felt like no one didn't know me. I felt like whoever I was, you had to accept it because that was me at that point. And so I would think that if I had to give any advice out there to anyone, like just because you don't know, like you don't have to say today is the day where I'm going to decide I'm gonna have, this huge. I'm gonna be me today. Like I know the definition of Dawn is, strong. Like you have to continue to put those positive affirmations out there for yourself, so you can kind of, because you might not be the same person that you were 2 or 3 years ago, and that's the great thing about um, when you elevate, like not elevate, what I'm trying to say, when you kind of grow and your perception on life, kind of get developed when you get a little bit more mature. Because I can tell you, we put up pictures of who we like, pictures of high school or grade school.
Yes.
It would be complete. You like, what was I thinking in
Yeah.
regards to like how I viewed life? Because life is completely different. I think that how people view even like body positivity now, or even
Right.
like the image is so different. Because I remember thinking beauty looked like Halle Berry. That's what I remember people saying, she's
Right.
beautiful. You know, I didn't see someone saying that looked like me who was maybe a little bit like darker. Like they didn't say that person was beautiful, who may have looked physically different. They didn't say that person, they would say they're beautiful for. So it's like you're beautiful for being, maybe being, big hips. You're beautiful for having, being bigger. So that's always be like, oh, you have a beautiful smile. But they didn't say I was beautiful. I was like, that would be a cop out for people whenever they were
Right.
introduced. They would say, oh, my sisters were like, they were cute. Like you're just so beautiful. But then it was like, okay, you have beautiful eyes. You'll
Right.
never notice that people say, oh, she has a beautiful smile or has a beautiful soul. So I already know the definition for my beauty. So when people now say that now, I mean, it just like comes and goes. I think I sometimes have a problem with taking compliments just because I don't know if it's authentic, you know? So I think even now the standard of beauty is kind of shifting. I think it has lots to do with social media, to be honest. Like at first I'm thinking, why would someone want to change themselves physically, alter their appearance? But it's not my right to tell someone that how they look isn't appropriate, how they view themselves, and like if they want to make those altercations is appropriate because it's not me. So I had to learn not to be so judgmental in regards to that portion. So that's
Right.
like a little tidbit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good thoughts. When I was growing up, I don't know. I think everybody's your life is really based on your circumstances. So I grew up, and I think a lot of times people don't think when you're very slim that you don't have body image issues, and I did. For all of those who don't know, when I was in high school, I had an eating disorder because I was so affected about what acceptable body images. Because even though I'm a slim person, I'm not skinny. I still have a body shape. So if you are always looking to other people for what is acceptable for our body image, like okay, I don't have a flat stomach, I don't have this, I don't have that. If you're always pointing out the inconsistencies in yourself or what you think other people have that you wish that you had, you have to kind of have a balance and to be happy with the way that you're made. And I think that comes with time and with maturity. You learn to accept yourself, say, okay, this is me. This is what I was given, and you have to learn to work along with it instead of putting ourselves down, because I see a lot of body shaming out there on social media, a lot of body shaming, like it doesn't matter whether a person is slimmer or a person is a plus size person. I see body shaming on both sides. Like if a slim person's eating a hamburger, it's like, oh, she can eat a hamburger because she's, like this. Or if on the other side, if a plus size person's eating a hamburger, then they'll say something negative about that. So you can't really go by what other people think about who you are. You have to go internally into yourself and say, this is the person that I am, and I love myself for who I am, and I'm going to be who I'm supposed to be and be happy in that. It takes time to, be in your own skin and be happy with what you're given, because I find most of the time for women of color, I don't know about other people because I've never been another race. I've only been a African American woman. So just no, you don't really have that kind of growing up, that that the way your skin color is, that's good. Then just being a woman, that's okay. Being whatever your shape is, that's okay. Someone always say how you are is okay, no matter how your hair is, how your skin looks, your body shape. You have breasts, you don't have breasts, you have a butt, you don't have a butt. Whatever you have, I think the most important thing that I want to portray and let other people know, that whatever you have is, take care of yourself in the best way possible. Be the best you that you can.
That was good. That was good. When you were talking about, like when you grew up, like your size, I do have a question. Like, what was there a time that you ever felt like your body image wasn't like perfect, like it didn't fit what other people said it should?
Yes, because okay, I think I was but whatever you are in ninth grade. So when I started ninth grade, and you're mixed in there with seniors and juniors and people older than you, and you're looking at them and they're like, stacked
Develop.
running back. Yeah. And I'm looking at myself, I'm like a little bird chest looking girl. I'm like, I don't look as good as they do. And then like when I would go home, I didn't have the open outlet at home. Like my parents were not people that you could go home and talk about body image and how look at yourself. So I always kept it inwardly. And I think that's the thing with being a person of a former eating disorder, is that I had to learn that it's okay to talk about how you're feeling, and that to not compare myself to other people. And I want another woman or another girl or another guy who's going through the same image, that yes, a person who is a slim size, we do have body image issues. We do look at ourselves in a way, like we want acceptance. We don't always want to be shamed because of our size either. Most of us, that's just how, the way you were born. I was born this way. This is how I was born. And you have to learn that how I was born is acceptable. And if other people don't like it, then that's their problem. But you have to walk in your own skin and be happy and content with what you were given. And it was only through therapy and prayer why I got through that. Because I got to a point, Dawn, where I think I was 70 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I had somebody come in and tell me like, "Hey, what are you doing?" So I wasn't supposed to be here. That was my
Yes.
second or third time where I almost died. That's just one of them. So I'm here for a purpose. I know that.
Well, that was I never would have thought that that was a part of like your story, like of going through all of that. I've never. One of my friends actually in high school, because I was so quiet, she also had struggled with you know how she looked, and she was doing well. What I can't, I don't remember the word. It's she would like purposely not eat. She would
That's
throw
what
her
I
food.
had. She was anorexic.
So yeah, and so I remember feeling like, okay, I don't know how to like say something, and I had to bring it up to her parents, and I felt so wrong. So I'm like, I don't know if that's even acceptable as a friend. And so now we're like extremely close. So I was telling her, like, I don't, like, how did you even stay friends with me? Because if anything, I would have felt betrayed because it was something that she told me in confidence, like when we were younger. But I knew that her parents, like, they were really religious. And you ever felt like, that's why I'm always grateful to have her as a friend. Because when I was having issues but not feeling worthy, like word, she was like, "You are beautiful. Like you're just fine." And I'm like, well, if you felt that way, how could you not see yourself as beautiful? Because I always felt like she was extremely beautiful, and so she, it was like a conversation. I don't want to like put out her business, but how she, apparently there were some issues that were going on, but we had a conversation. And I'm like, we would fall out in backing in because I didn't like the crowd that she was like hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a conversation where I was like, I still want to be your friend. And I do like how you're so advanced. She was the type of person that was like fearless. So it's almost kind of weird because I was so quiet and she was so like, outspoken. Like you couldn't talk about her, it didn't matter. And so I'm always grateful for people who, and I think it's interesting how you think that you have it bad or how you view yourself, no one else could feel that way. Like it's no way for you not to feel beautiful because you look a certain, like you have breasts or you are skinny or you are like have that shape. And people have like self-image issues that you may deem not to be a real issue because like, but people do. Like how can you tell someone that how they feel and how they view themselves, they don't have the issues there. So I thought that was interesting, like growing up, because I just thought, like, I'm like, you look perfect to me. I wish that I could, look different. And now when I look back, I'm like, there was nothing wrong. Like
Yeah.
there was nothing wrong with me. At that point, I was like, I looked extremely different. I'm like, oh, I guess I just didn't feel confident. And then I'm glad that as we grew up together, she would always tell me how she was grateful for me. And I'm like, I'm grateful for you because a lot of those times when I felt like um, that, my that I didn't really have like any beauty, but people did notice me. Like when she would do my makeup, I'm like, I don't like attention. Attention means conversation. Attention means
Right.
people can even critique other things on you. So when you were talking about how people look at people who may be a little bit different than them, like if they're small and if they're bigger. I thought about a movie of that Monique was in, about how she was kind of like belittling her cousin character. Have you ever seen that with Fat Girls?
No.
And I was thinking like, why is she talking to her like that? And those are like the movies that people look at and they think, okay, it's no, like you, when she was in there, she's like, you can't have no problems. Like you are skinny, you are beautiful, people love you. And she's like, you never asked me how I feel. You know what I mean? No one ever asked me the pressure of who I am and how people constantly try to like put their beauty on me or how I should feel. Like you don't know the issues that I go through behind the door. And so they had that little moment in the movie, but it's comedic, so they kind of like it's a moment, but then they kind of go over it. So I can see how people can think like, oh, just because I'm smaller doesn't mean like I don't go through issues. And that's
Right.
one of the things that I think that even like people of color, like that we don't talk about our feelings in regards to having like issues. Like it's not common, even though my mom said, you're beautiful, it wasn't like an open dialogue. Like if there was really issue, like if I really didn't feel like I would think that if I really had like depression, then no one would have like never really cared enough to get help. You know what I mean? Like you get talked about, oh,
Right.
you crazy, or oh, you shouldn't have those issues because other people somewhere else are going through something worse. And that's always the response. You should be grateful. It's this thing of we should be grateful to have these certain accommodations that we have. And it's like, no, I'm still human. I still go through things. Um, I was just thinking like it made me think about my friend, it made me think about that movie. Like when you're saying that, I would think that would even be a good topic for you to do like again, like just that's a good testimony. I would have never thought because you seem so confident and like who you are. And whenever you give like positive affirmations to me through live, I would
Yeah.
have never thought that. So I do thank you for being such a positive like influence. Cause you always say, "Oh, you're beautiful," and I'm like, "What? Not me." You come
Yes.
through lives, and I'm like, you never know how much that can affect somebody. Like just to get that positive
Yeah.
affirmations. So yeah.
Yeah. Welcome. Bree is here now. Hi, Bree.
Hey, Bree.
Yeah. So I feel like I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a conversation, like most mothers and daughters, like there has to be conversations like those tough conversations with girls, like talk to your daughter especially and tell them, like, no matter what is going on outside, no matter what another girl, no matter what another boy says, this is what you have to think about yourself. I can't do it for you. You have to feel this way about yourself. You have to love yourself the way you are. You have to love your hair the way that it is. And I didn't come into that knowledge until I was like 17 years old. So I can't imagine like growing up with that. Like I'm kind of jealous of people who got that from a little girl. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get that until I was almost an adult, that I had to learn that I could love myself just the way that I was, that who I was acceptable. And I was a wonderful person. But even if you don't receive it from other people, you can learn it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of people know that you can learn things. You can learn that even if your whole atmosphere around you is negative, you can learn to love yourself the way that you are and make yourself happy. Don't look to other people or social media trying to chase things. Like, have you ever seen the social media reels on Instagram? Like everything is like everybody's smiling, everything's positive, everything's great, but that's not real life.
Mm-hmm.
That's not real life. It's like people are trying to portray what is not real. So you kind of have to have a balance. That's why I have a balance with social media. Like this is really the only social media that I do, this and Instagram, because yeah, I don't want to portray something that is not, because every day you don't wake up, your hair done perfectly, everything's perfectly. You have your day where my hair is wrapped up, and I just want to be in bed in my pajamas, you know, barely waking up to take a shower.
That's funny.
Like be realistic, about life. I feel like a lot of people, they try to be more than what they are, or they try to put out that I'm this perfect image of a person. When you're not. Nobody's perfect. It's okay to just be who you are.
That's a good example. I have a cousin, like a god cousin. I feel like everybody calls. I have a cousin. She's like a god sister, who puts
Mhm.
everything on social media. Not like in regards to like her perfect pictures. She can be getting out the bed crust, and I'm like, why don't she put everything? Like she don't care how she looks. And so it got to a point to where I had deleted. Like if you look at my Instagram, which that's like a real. I didn't even think anybody would even notice. I didn't want anything on there where I felt like someone could say something bad. Even this stuff on there now, I'm like, it's like the pressure of like if you put something out there, everyone sees it. It's out there forever. So it's not a
Right.
thing. People think, okay, if you delete it, it's gone. No. Once you put something on the internet, someone can find it in some way, shape, or form, even if you delete it, because it has like like a number. Everything has a number.
Mhm.
So I do remember. I don't know how long you ever had Instagram or Facebook. You remember where the images weren't as perfect. So if you took a picture, it's kind of blurry, wasn't the best.
Yes.
I remember being happy with just like a smiling photo. I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice. Or if I'm sad, I'm like, oh, but like just you want people to see like the best, like capturing moments of you. And I even changed on my Instagram once, this is just a glimpse of my life. Like this isn't me, because people put so much pressure in every photo, or social media becomes a way they feel love. Like they have to get a like, they have to get a lot of interactions on a photo. And so I've just noticed, like, I always tell my god cousin, my god sister, like, I just like how you don't really care what people say about you. She just put photos out there because she just likes to literally, she likes, she probably has thousands and thousands of photos. And so she's always said, like, when I was younger, she would tell me, Like, I don't care about what people think about me. If they want to fight me, they can fight me over, but they won't. So, literally, if you go to her Facebook, it's like thousands of photos daily. Like, she'll repost things. She's real outspoken, and that's one of the things that I'm like. I know that I don't want to be envious of somebody else and how they do things, but every day I try to be a little bit authentic of me. Like, don't care about what other people may say if I put something up. But I feel like it's hard to say now because everything is social media. Like, if you didn't come from that type of background where I do remember when I wasn't able to have an Instagram or MySpace used to be big. So I wasn't
Yes,
used
MySpace.
of being on those type of platforms. But now you have a 9-year-old, you have a baby, they have children who have face like Instagram pages. And I feel like their parents use it as some sort of business. Like, they want their babies to get all of this attention because they think that that's validation for other means. It can be possible income. It can just mean validate them so they can be more solidified when they get older to do what they want to do. I mean, I think it just depends on why people put that out there, but it makes me think of that picture. Do you see where, you know how a person have a photo? I don't know if you ever seen the caption, but they saying like, "You see me smiling, but you don't get to see like what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
Where I'm depressed, where I'm sad, where I barely made it up today." So I remember thinking like it was enough for me to ask somebody, "How are you doing?" But how many people really kind of care about the mental health of someone else? Like, I feel like I just say it, but if I do get a reaction sometimes, like on social media, like, "Hey, I haven't seen you post anything. I haven't seen you around." Like, what do you do when someone's like, "You know what? That's just like I'm really going through it." So I think people use social media as like kind of like a like what they want to feel like, but I don't think that it's almost realistic for them to put everything out there. So I do think it's a good conversation, even like in the future. Like, social media isn't everything. If you think about how much people put so much pressure on how they're viewed, and they equate that literally with love. I would have I knew a person that would like her page from different pages that she made and comment on there because she wanted people to think that she was more loved,
Getting
and I guess you just wanted to like that attention. I'm like, "Are you have multiple like Facebooks?" And she was like, "No," but I'm like, "I just see you log in, and that's the person I see under your thing." So I think that's when I kind of knew like I didn't really care much about social media anymore. And I don't even think like I barely even post on YouTube, but I know this, so I do want to post more. But it's just like the pressure. If you post something, there's going to be a response, and then if that response, I don't want to feel like what is what I'm trying. I don't want to feel dependent on something getting engagement in order for me to feel validation. And I feel like a lot of people do. Like, I've known people who stop posting just because they just don't want to have that pressure. And it's like, it shouldn't be like that. This was meant
no.
for you with people to kind of, just kind of get that, just socializing. But I feel like social media is like a whole new world. Like, it's people can have a whole different life behind the scenes. My life
Right.
is dim, glim. So I'm like, this is what you get. You get that on YouTube. I think that's one of the things you were saying. Like when we had like on live once, you was like, "Y'all are not going to know no more than what I want you to know," and that's a real testament because I'm so open that sometimes I wish, Dawn, I wish I didn't say that. I wish I didn't show that, because you want to have some sense of privacy. Because then that's when people can start nitpicking things about you. You kind of think like, is that who I really am? And then I think that's like an interesting thing to kind of like view. When you said that part, I thought we do put this space on for social media, and then
Right.
we want people to only see those images that we think that will make us look better. So I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I don't care whatever I put. I'm gonna
Right.
just use this for this type of platform, which I think that's when remember I was looking for you for a while. I'm like, you don't
Yeah.
have no type of social media. You need it more.
Yes, I think you were the one. I think it was you and Bree, and I think it was
Geo. I think it was
Gio and Mr. Wise. You guys are the one like, you need to make an Instagram. You need and I was like, for what? I
I
said
was
I
just
because
business
I just feel like it's too much. I was like, people, if they want to know about me, they come to my YouTube.
No, you said my Gmail. So I put my email in there. If they need me, they can
Yeah.
email
I
me.
said
I'm
you
like,
can email me.
I understand why you do it, because I mean it becomes a lot. So now I'm like, you social media, because of what it is now. That's why if I ever have children, I wouldn't want my child to be on social media until they were, like you said, you have that conversation, validized, and like, this is who you are. You can define who you want to be, because now you live in a world where there's so many spectrums that you don't want someone to tell your child who they are, or if they're beautiful, if they're not beautiful, and then now you have to go on top of just the regular world things that goes on, and you don't never know someone's environment. They can be growing up in abuse, and then now you have to now go online and deal with that social media bullying. And people use, I remember watching you have ever heard of Breakfast Club? It's like a urban. So yeah, Breakfast Club. I remember Charlamagne saying social media isn't a real thing. Like, you can't get bullied on social media. That's not real. You shouldn't equate feelings with that. And it's hard because a lot of people wouldn't be the person they are because they have this identity with social media. So there can be bullying. I feel like individuals who do bully someone on social media should be, held responsible, because
Right.
that deals with your mental. What makes a difference if you were in front of me versus if you're online? So like, I feel like as I got older, I try not to judge, because you never know what someone is going through. And I think one of the best examples of that has been Chadwick Boseman. They were talking about him and how he looked physically because he looked really, really skinny, and not knowing
Right.
that this person was going through something. So like, he was
He was really sick.
he was sick, and you making fun of him, making memes, down in his character, and not knowing that he was fighting every day. Like, that's like the perfect example. Like, people go through things, and they don't live in that social media world. Like,
Yeah.
you would have never known all of that was going, because the photos that he would post, and he was dealing with personally. So I feel like sometimes it's not people business in regards to like what's going on with you, but it really shows a testament on how people viewed him afterwards. It's like, you need to start being accountable for your words for other people when you talk about them. You need to start uplifting. You need to have those conversations with your children. Like, this shouldn't be acceptable for people to bully someone for how they look, or to feel like your opinion should be dominant over theirs and their view. Because now you have people can say they're anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
like you always can get in trouble with whatever you say on the internet. So I'm like, I'm not gonna
You
say
can.
anything. So that's why I'm like, if I ever have children, not until you're of age to know. Like, I want to know how comfortable and dominant you are in saying I am who I am. And if you ever do feel like life is getting to you much when it comes to other people, I would love to have that open dialogue. Like you said, like, my mom was pretty open. My dad was like really reserved. His main thing was to be a provider, and he's like, we have a roof. You need to get good grades. This
Yeah.
is like life. Like, if how your clothes, that shouldn't matter. You got clothes. Like, there's someone
Right.
out there without no clothes. And I remember thinking, like, I'm at the bird, sorry. I never asked for anything growing up, like in regards to getting something that's popular. I didn't know that was even a thing. Wouldn't know when I go to school. Some, like, the kids would have J's. K Swiss used to be big for a moment. And I remember like thinking, oh, I wish I had that. But I'm like, oh, that's not really my style. I was really big into like mud and big gaudy type things, where even if I wanted those things, I would just save up for it. And when I got older, my dad was talking to me, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't get everything the other kids used to get when I was younger. He was like, what? I'm like, yeah, I didn't get those things. And he was like, you had the opportunity to get them. Did you ever ask? I said, no, I didn't know it was even like
Right.
I could even have it. You never asked us, like, what do you want to get this? It was like, we're going shopping for school. This is where we're going to get the stuff from. So I'm
Right.
like, I didn't know that I had the option to express myself and that you were going to finance it. I just thought, like, whatever we got, if it was hand me downs from another cousin, I accepted
Right.
it gladly. I'm like, if it's something that I like, if it was mud, I don't know if you ever heard of mud, but mud,
Yes, the
that was
mud
like my
jeans
thing.
and everything.
I used to have like the mud purse. I was just like one of my cousins.
Everything.
She was the only child, and so I used to like almost envy her. And this is another good story. I'm not gonna go away. I used to envy her because I'm like, she gets all the good stuff, the good dowels. Like her mom dressed her really nice, and so whenever she didn't want anything, that's when I get the stuff from her sometimes. And so I remember going over her house, and they didn't. My mom didn't let us look at what is called like secular music. I didn't know who Bow Wow was, and
Right.
so when I seen him, I was like, "Ooh, he's cute." And she was
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, that's
Hold
Bow
on
Wow."
a second, Dawn. I just want to welcome everybody in the chat. Hi, Scorpion, Calvin, Fun with the Girls, and I think it's one other person. Over plus size.
Oh, that's Lindsay. That's my friend. That's my best friend.
Okay. Welcome, guys. Thanks for being here. Sorry about that, Dawn.
Oh
Continue with.
no. So I would she told me how her mom was basically like, I love her. She passed away, but her mom was kind of like really nitpicky, and so she was like, I wish that she didn't give me some of this. So like she basically kind of like maneuvered what I had to get. I didn't really have a say. I'm like, I would have never known you had all the cute stuff to me. I thought it was cute because it was stuff I wanted, but she didn't really have no say so in those items. But I was really
Oh,
grateful. And after I found that out, I'm like, wow, those were years I could have had all my little mud and K Swiss shoes. And I'm like, okay, I'm grateful because, everyone has like things that they weren't necessarily able to get. And I know you come from a big family. I've known because my family was semi big, like it was six of us. So it was like people would never want to invite us places, like my mom, because there was so many children.
right.
So I could just imagine I had well, went to a big church which she had 17 children. And so I know I'm like, oh, I would not want to be in a
Thank you,
family with
Scorpion. He gave me a super chat. Thank you so much, Scorpion.
yes, thank you. So yeah. So now I'm pretty much grateful, but I know that everyone has like a story, especially people don't know like your clothing, like that can be a part of like your body image, like how just even knowing like how you were saying what may not look good on you can look good on someone else, or either what you think may look good on you may not look good on that person. And sometimes people have to think about like if you feel like it looks good on you, like I feel like it shouldn't be up to another person to tell you that you don't look good. If you're confident in who you are and you're developed, like your image constantly develops. Because one moment I may like something, I used to be in this whole bohemian type of feel where I wanted everything to be flowy and big. And then I'm like, I don't know what to call it. Like, I just knew I liked what I liked. I didn't have a name until
Right.
someone was like, "Oh, you have a bohemian type of style." I'm like, "What? I don't think that. I don't think I have a
Okay.
bohemian style. I do like flowy and like patterns, but I didn't know there was a thing." So that's interesting.
Hold on one second, Dawn. Scorpion is saying, when is the next time you will be able to chat with us? What do you mean, Scorpion? I'm waiting for your comment.
Oh, hi, Bozo. He said, "Don, I forgot about him."
Yeah, don't
Sorry.
forget about him. Nobody forgot about Bozo.
No, no,
You mean
no.
when am I going to do my next live, Scorpion? Is that what you mean? Just me solo, or the next time I'm doing a live stream? I don't know what Scorpion's referring to. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. And I saw a comment that Bree put earlier. She said that people have filters and edits and all of that. And those filters came in clutch sometimes. And she said she remembers scanning her pictures for her MySpace.
Wow.
I remember that. Yes, I do remember that.
I equate MySpace with AOL. Like I think dial up, old timey. I used to love MySpace when you could put music on your page.
Yeah, well, I think you guys, because you guys are younger than me, you guys had MySpace. My thing was Highfive.
I've heard of Highfive. I've never
Yes,
seen
I
it,
love
but
Highfive.
I can
Highfive
imagine.
was a little bit more like, I guess like it was like the 20s, people in their 20s at the time, because I think Go ahead, Scorpion. Go ahead and ask your questions. Ask your question, Scorpion. Um, yeah, I had Highfive, and I was like, I don't know. I felt like Highfive was like more for people in their 20s, and I think MySpace was like people in their teens. That's just what I. That's what I think, because when you
I
guys
had to
were
lie. I
teens,
had to
I
lie
was
to
in
get
my
on
20s.
MySpace
Yeah.
because they wanted you to be older. I do agree. It was a more younger adolescent type. I'm like, I wasn't even allowed to get on there, so I had to lie because you had to at least be, I think, 15 or something. And you know, when you first started high school, so I had to like adjust my age. But
Oh, you want to adjust your age? Oh, do
I did.
tell.
I wanted
It's
to be a part of.
getting juicy now.
I wanted to know. I used to go to this Christian camp, and so a lot of the kids there, had it. And so I started me in my face page, and you had. I feel like 15. I'm selling myself short. I feel you have to be 16. It may have been like 16 or something of that nature. But I remember making myself 2 or 3 years older than what I was because I had to start the profile. In my mind, like, I need to have my profile. My first picture was a picture I took on my mom's razor
Oh
at
man,
at
the
a funeral.
razor
She
phone.
went inside the funeral to go, like, it was over, like, to repass, and I'm like, hey, can I use your phone to call dad? She's like, yeah. When you get out the car, make sure, like, the door. I found some light. I took me a little picture and I sent it to my email. That's when Gmail wasn't popular back then. I had Rocket Mail and I had Yahoo. So I sent it to my Yahoo. From my Yahoo, then I had to send it to, like, I think I had, like, the what's the thing called? You have to take a picture of the screen because I don't really know how to save it. I took a picture of the screen, then I saved it on my dad's computer, and then I uploaded it. And one night, and I'm like, oh,
Wow.
finally have a page.
Hold on one second, Don. Scorpion says it's been almost 7 months. I want to know how have you been, and I miss you. And do you have Facebook? Yes, I have Facebook Messenger, Scorpion. It's the same name under my real name, Marlene Greffin. So if you find me on Facebook, that's where I am. Yeah, but Scorpion, I took a little time off when my brother passed away. That's why I haven't really been dealing with Facebook. That's why. But that's where I've been. I took a little time off to get myself together. But yeah, like I feel like when I was growing up and stuff, see, you guys know I got 10 siblings, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not 10 siblings, it's 10 of us all together. So I'm number 10, the youngest, right? So my oldest sister and brother could have been my parents because I was born when they were already adults. So they were the one I could always like. They could go and get me stuff. I don't know if you guys know about how the Kmart used to have the blue light special.
The what special?
The blue light special. You guys
What
know
was
about
that?
that? You're probably too young, but back in the day, that used to be the hook. Like, used to be in Kmart when the blue light went off in the store, like everything was like 50% off. So you saw everybody running up and down and grabbing stuff. Like, my mom used to just go straight to the toilet paper. I
Essentials.
got too
She's
many
getting
kids and
essentials.
I need paper towel and toilet paper. My mom would go and buy that first. She wouldn't even wait. She just left us to y'all do what you want. I'm good.
No, she was a smart
So my
woman. She
older
getting
siblings
tissue.
to go and get me clothes. That's the only time I used to really get clothes because I think back in the 80s and stuff, like I think minimum wage was like $2.75. Like you made no money. Um, So, like when a shirt was like $1, that was like a lot.
Still.
Yeah. So, like when it was 50 cents, like my sister be like, okay, now we can, now we can work with something. So that's when I used to get stuff when it was a blue light special. So, I think when I used to see kids. when I was growing up, I used to be jealous of kids that used to always get brand new clothes all the time and brand new sneakers and backpacks and purses and all those things. But for those who don't know, I come from a Caribbean household, so my parents didn't play that. My parents were like, the only thing that matters is you go to school, you get your education, and you get a good job. Don't care about these kids. But I didn't understand that. Being a kid, you want to be popular and you want to be popular and you want to have the newest things. But I didn't understand that all those people that you were worried about back then when you were in school, they're not a part of your life now. They're not adding to your life. And I wish when I was younger, my parents told me that. Like these people in the next 5 years and 10 years, you're not going to even know who they are. So don't put so much of their opinions into your mind. Yeah. What they're doing, they're not going to add or subtract from your life. It's just right now you want to please other people, like that peer pressure. And that's what I was in. Okay, Calvin, so he remembers shopping at Kmart and Sears.
For some shoes.
Yes, some shoes. I used to have the jelly shoes. I don't know, all the girls back in the 80s, everything was about jelly shoes. Like you remember it had all different colors, like clear, gold, red. Like I wanted every color, and my mom was like, "You ain't getting none but one pair."
Those jelly shoes weren't realistic. I remember them coming back out, and I ended up I wanted white and I wanted pink, and they used to have a good deal at like those stores. What is department stores? Is Kmart considered a department? Walmart and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so like the department stores, and I remember my white clear jellies would look weird. And I'm like, I'm like, yeah, you're not getting those again if you don't want.
Yes.
Like, no, I want to get these. She's like, no, it's not working. We done got your daddy to give us some money. She always said he's gonna give us some money. You can get one thing, and I was like, okay, I want
one thing.
Jelly shoes. It was either a toy or shoes. I like shoes and I like toys. I was real big into like Barbies for like the longest.
Hold on 1 second, Dawn. Yes, Scorpion, I see your comment. Have a good day at work. Thanks for being in the stream and thanks for your super chat. Okay. Okay, Dawn. What were you saying?
I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
Maybe something about Kmart, but who knows? Probably something trivial like that.
But yeah, you were talking about shoes. That you got some white shoes.
Oh, they were jelly sandals. Mm-hmm. You ever seen like the jelly sandals? And when they're clear, the color kind of get distorted. And so, by then, I think maybe the quality of some items weren't as good as it used to be.
Yeah, they were not.
I think even now, Mom saying like the quality of items and clothing and shoes is like it's too much money you're paying, and it's not as quality. And so she knows certain brands, and I used to love just like how they had different styles at Walmart. I used to be obsessed with like when they had like little colors when you walk, like when I was a kid. So.
Yes.
I think it's interesting that even though we grew up in different like times almost, but not really, that the same thing kind of repeats itself in style almost. Because my mom was telling me that the same, like nothing is ever new. It's just been reinvented, and someone wanted to start saying this is the new item for this time. And so my sister, like I used to like wearing her clothes. She's 5 years older than me. So whenever she would like her stuff pass, I'm like, oh yes, it's gonna come back out. I remember buying a jersey dress, and it took me forever to get it because they were expensive in my eyes. And so I didn't want to ask my dad, and we ended up going to one of these stores where everything was the same price. You ever seen like where like, all dresses were $5? Also,
kind of like Rainbow or something.
It was kind of like Rainbow. But at this time, it was like a sports store where it was different because it was like sport items, like shorts and T-shirts, and they had jersey dresses for a certain amount. And I bought a jersey dress, and I'm like, next year, because it's summertime, I'm like, when I go back to school, I'm going to have the hottest item. And jersey dresses was over. Yeah. So I bought something there. I was like, oh, that's old. I'm like, well, I'm wearing my jersey dress because it took a lot for me to get this. So I was like, okay, I love this dress.
Yes, my thing is, y'all don't hate me, but when I was in school, I was all about the fanny pack. There was fanny pack people and there weren't fanny pack people, but I wanted every color of fanny pack jeans. Hey Lala, um, I wanted the jeans, the black, the pink, every color. And my mom was like, "You only get in one." I was like, "My life is over."
That's when you gotta find a thrift store.
See, but my thing is, my parents back then, my parents did not play that about thrift stores.
Oh, they didn't like thrift stores.
Mm-mm. And
Oh,
I was like, "What's the problem?"
having it used up. Oh my goodness, I
Yeah,
used to like
my
fanny
mom was.
packs.
I guess I think my mom didn't really understand them because she thought everything in there was like torn up and dirty. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, back then they used to have like different thoughts and feelings about thrifting. It wasn't like now thrifting is trending.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, mom was like, "You ain't wearing nobody old stuff, so you can forget that." And I used to cry. I used to cry. I was
You're
like, "I
like, I'm getting a
want
hand me downs from my other siblings.
to know." Yes. I was like, so I would take my sister's stuff. So that's why me and my sisters were always fighting. Hold on,
Um,
let me put this in the Scorpions asking for my Facebook. Uh, so that's my Facebook Scorpion, Marlene Greffen. That's my real name. So if you could find it there. Hey Lala. And Fun with the Girls says she feels like leggings are going to go out of style.
she said that. All right. No, I like they didn't left, came back. They're always. I
Mm-mm.
remember wearing leggings when I were young. When I was younger, but it wasn't acceptable to wear them as clothing. I remember leggings being something as like you would wear it under your dress with your boots. It was almost like this is just like
Yeah,
undergarments.
it kind of like was you wore it with a sweater or something.
Yeah.
It was like kind of like it was like pantyhose or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't something that you were just gonna wear leggings by itself like now. Oh, let's see. What did Calvin say? He said he loved Kmart when they had layaway, and he got Secret Santa, and he paid his layaway off down to a penny until he made his own money, and he was somebody's Secret Santa. Yeah,
I remember my aunt. She would do like the layaway and the Secret Santa. I don't think they do that no more, right?
no,
Like
because
the Kmart.
I remember. Let's see. I think it was only up to like maybe the 90s where Kmart did layaway. I think they stopped that before. That was way before the store closed in my area.
I know they did layaway here. Well, I'm not here. I was living in St. Louis when I was a little bit older. That was in the 2000s, but it was a limit. So there were certain items you can put in layaway. What
30.
like certain items, like it had to have been like something a big item. It couldn't be something where you're putting clothes or during the holidays they'll allow you to have layaway will open up for you to put toys, but it had to be a certain amount. So it couldn't be like $40 or 100. It had like hundreds of dollars for you to put something on layaway. And then that's when they'll make like the payment arrangements with you. Which I think that a lot of people that's almost like what's the thing afterpay?
Yeah.
That's the new form of afterpay now because you can pay them and they don't check your credit or nothing. It's like almost
No.
if you verify certain information, then you just pay back. I don't do afterpay because I'm like if I don't have it, I don't want I
Yeah,
don't
you
want
know
to
what?
get
You know
it.
what? Have you guys ever? I'm telling on myself now, but you ever used to put stuff on layaway and never went back for it?
I know people. I know my mom probably been guilty.
And I used to be having to fit. I was like, "Mama, I want my stuff."
They get you all hyped up. You put the stuff on there, and she know good and well you're not going to get
No, she didn't have no money to get it. So why she
it. She's
hyped
like,
us
nope.
up?
Yeah.
She hyped us up like you gonna get all this stuff, and I'm all excited getting purses and shoes and all this stuff. Like, yes, I'm gonna be set when school starts. I didn't get nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, welcome, Lala. How you doing? So, how was it when you were in school, Dawn? How was it when you were in school? Like, how was the girls like acting, like and dressing and stuff when you were in school? Like, is it the same like today, or was it different?
I was homeschooled
Oh,
for
you
a
are.
very a weird part of my life, and when I wasn't homeschooled, I went to a private school. So we had um, what is it called, uniforms. So I feel like even with uniforms, they will make a way to make you not trendy. So I remember being younger, we had uniforms. Then for my middle school, apart up into high school, middle school every time I was homeschooled. I was homeschooled when I was a little bit younger as well. And I had begged my mom to go to school for high school because I used to watch Degrassi. You ever seen Degrassi? It was like a
Yeah,
Canadian show. And so I'm like, this is the life. I'm ready to live my life and be free and be me. And she's like, whatever. Look here. She's like, if you don't get it together, you go either go into, we have a school called Beaumont. And it wasn't a really good school.
that
So
doesn't sound nice. That
it
sounds
started with
like a
someone
place
really
that has like a barbed
prestigious.
wire fence.
It's actually a name of a man who was real prestigious in St. Louis, but the school had went down. But anybody from St. Louis, I'm sorry if you went there. But Beaumont was known for like the real adolescents and like no one cared. And I remember when we went there, I'm like, I can't go there. And so she knew I was afraid to go to public school in our area. So they ended up starting doing charter schools. And charter schools were real big right in like the early 2000s. A lot of colleges or either organizations were funding these charter schools, like kind of like backing them. And so they were putting in a charter school kind of like in a downtown area where I lived at. And so I'm like, I want to go to the new charter school. And she was like, I have to look it up first. And so I was going through the homeschool phase. And so I'm like, I think I didn't do my work one day or something crazy. And she was like, look here, if you don't get it together, you're going to Beaumont. And I'm like,
Oh my
I'm
god.
like, I don't want to go to Beaumont.
Were
Don't
you
send me.
crying?
I was like, I'm telling Daddy, he's not gonna let you send me there. And I knew my dad. I'm like, in my mind, I know. I'm like, I probably could have like convinced him like, Maxine, don't send her to Beaumont. But I was like, okay, I'm getting it together. I want to go to I want to go to school. This is the year I want to go to school because I was, like I said, I was really, really shy. And my friend, like the one that's in here plus size, we're 4 years apart. So most of my friends at that time, either they were older than me in some way, like a little bit older, or either I had one friend was the same age, and that was the friend I was telling you about before. Like we had grew up together. I really didn't have much friends, and so I had told her, I'm like, if she sent me to Beaumont, I'm running away. She was
Oh
like, no,
my
you not.
goodness.
I'm like, I'm not going to that school. I know stories about kids because they dress. Beaumont was one of those schools where kids dress a certain way. So my mom said, it's
Like,
gonna be
how did they
crazy.
dress? They dress like scandalous.
I would now looking back, I would say it was more of I wouldn't say scandalous because now you can dress a certain way in school and get away with it. You can't have skin, but it was more I would say trendy and hip.
Okay.
So when I knew if I went to Beaumont, I would have to be a trendy, outspoken type of person. I'm like, that's not me. And even if some like shorts, like had a lot of leg out, very much, if it was skinny,
Right.
they'll find a way. You can't have the chest area. You can't really have much skin, but if you're shaped a certain way, like they'll get away with it. But I'm like, I don't want to go to Beaumont. So I ended up going to a school where it was a charter school. So the first year we wore uniforms. And you would think that a person can't make a uniform cute or have it where you can be alienated for how your uniform looked. They did. So I would know girls that would like dress up theirs and kind of like make it have a waist or certain pants. I didn't have because I was they always said I was big boned. So when I would go to the store to get pants, my dad didn't like the hustle. Like he would ask me if I wanted to get boy pants. Like I don't care. That was always my answer. So I was wearing boy clothes to school, and I would notice that my pants looked different because if you know how boy pants is like shaped, right?
Right.
So I looked a mess, and I honestly like it was a mess. And so I'm like, I don't really care. It's just pants. Like I never went to a school Like at this point, I look different from when I was younger. But I mean, I don't feel like it was much of an image thing. I know that because they couldn't wear what they wanted to wear, they would find other ways to express themselves. So that's through hair, that's through shoes, that's through accessories. And I didn't have those things. My mom did hair, like she did braids, but it was age appropriate braids. Like I
Oh,
wasn't
no,
allowed.
not age appropriate.
I
Mm-mm.
would have. She said I wasn't allowed to have hair in my face, so she would give me braids, but
And you
with
had to pull
braid,
it back.
but
Yes,
with braid
I know.
curl
I
with so I'm like, I didn't like how it looked, but I'm like, I'll accept anything. And so it was like stuff like that. Like they'll find other ways to be trendy in the midst of having to wear, uniforms. But I don't really have to do like when we have parties afterwards. I think that's when you kind of get to see how a person looks. So there was more pressure on those parties than it was probably like in school. Like
Mm.
people would wear like the fitted dresses, or they get to wear like the trendy shoes or outfits. I remember, if you ever heard like the Jordan shoe, like the heels, the Jordan heels was like popular for a moment. They were ugly in my opinion, but I wanted them because everybody was like, okay, I want some Jordan heels. My dad like, you don't even wear heels. I'm like, I'm just looking at stuff, Daddy. I don't really want them. He's like, oh, okay. But yeah, I never like. I feel like high school wasn't, because it was the reason why I found out they did the uniforms is to cut down on, one of the reasons they would tell the board of education is supposed to cut down on bullying. They should be they should be doing their homework rather than worrying about expressing themselves. That was one of the things they brought up in the meeting. Well, we want our kids to be able to express themselves. And they're like, they shouldn't be worrying about expressing themselves. They should be worrying about education. So that was like one of like the big reasons that they said like we needed uniforms, which honestly I'm grateful for, because if I had to have like certain things, I probably just would have been wearing the same clothes over and over, and then would have been getting bullied for that. It was others. Like I never was bullied per se, but I know that I would get certain looks because of how I dressed or because I was so quiet. I think that had to do a lot of like my personality. I was just kind of like reserved. Which a funny story is that one of the boys that would like always say something to me, like it didn't matter. I could come in the room and it was like he would like make up these noises. I'm like, what is wrong with him? And so I would smile, and people don't know, like people do things like, oh, it's okay, like, oh, she don't mind because she's smiling. But I would get annoyed, and I'm like, I want to go to school because it's always something he has to say. He ended up DMing me when I got like a month ago, and was like, I'm sorry for always saying stuff to you, and I'm happy that you're not mad at me no more. I'm like, you were a jerk, but I mean, I just assumed that something was just wrong with you. He was like, okay. He's like,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just want you to know that, I was really like immature. I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
But I'm glad that he did notice his behavior, like growing up, because like it did make fun. Okay, I guess it wasn't just me; it was him just being weird.
Well, I'll tell you about when I was in school. When I was in school, I used to, if you believe it or not, I used to be kind of gothic. Like, when I used to wear like lots of black eyeliner, black lipstick, black nail polish, um, like the cargo pants, and like fatigue shirts. Like, even I think I used to wear a trench coat. I recall a trench coat. Yeah, so I used to dress different. So I think I was made fun of because I didn't fit into a box like the
Mhm.
normal black girl that dressed like a normal black girl or teenager in general. I used to just dress however I wanted to, like cut up my pants. And I used to have what do they call them now? The jeans with the slits in them.
Distressed,
Yeah,
distressed
distressed.
things.
I was doing that before that even was a thing. I used to, because my mom wouldn't give me any jeans. So I said, you know what? I'm going to cut these bad boys up and make them mine. And my mom would say, what is wrong with your pants? Why got all them holes? And I said, because this is my
Because
style.
you've been trendy. You've
Yeah,
been setting your own
I was
trend for
making my
yourself.
own style. And I laugh now when I see the distressed jeans now because I was like, I did that 20 years ago. That's funny to me now.
No. I wasn't setting chance, Marlene.
Yeah, I used to dye my shirts. I used to take my brother's clothes and cut patches and put patches on my clothes. I did all kinds of.
Now my mom did that for me. I don't think it was. It was more of a this is ripped and we're gonna keep it. So she would put like color pattern. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, okay, it's kind of cool, especially on the jeans when they so if it was ripped, my holes on the knees they would rip a lot because I would play outside. So she
Mhm.
would put the patches on there and then put them in random places, and then like how you said, it ended up coming out to be like a thing that people are now doing. I'm like, oh, okay, a little patch, a little patterns.
Yeah, patches and patterns. I used to just cut stuff up because, like, my mom wouldn't get me stuff, so I would take one shirt and cut off a piece of one part of the shirt that I liked and put it on another. So I
Thank
made
you,
my own
Zozo.
style. I made my own style. I was like, you won't buy me nothing? Fine. I'm gonna make myself a shirt.
That has a lot to do with say about like you being innovative and like what you had, you kind of like made your own style from it. I had a friend who family didn't like get a lot of stuff for her. She liked makeup, but they didn't believe in makeup. Like you shouldn't be wearing makeup. When we would like hang out, she would make her own makeup. And I don't know how, I don't know if people should do this. She's like, she would get the Vaseline. She would break the pens, like the color pens.
Oh my
She
goodness.
would make stuff from them. So like make
Mhm.
lipsticks. She would use that same stuff she would use like as a blush. So depending on the color, she just needed just a little bit of Vaseline. She didn't like make concoctions or figure out a way
Wow.
for her to be able to wear what she wanted. And then when she got older, like her mom like let her buy like little makeup here, but it was like if you want makeup, you have to pay for it. So she would get her granddaddy. But she would do that. We would be sitting there. I'm like, why are we doing this? Is that even okay to put that product on? She's like, yeah, it's fine. I was gonna make what color you want, and she would just pop the pen and then just make her a little color,
Oh my
have her
goodness.
her little lipstick, lip gloss, like a little tinted gloss. And she was like, this is how I want to wear makeup, and they're not gonna know because they don't know that we outside doing this. We'll go
Oh,
to the park.
I'm gonna tell you about what I did when I think I was in middle school. So where are you, like 12, 13? You know, you're not allowed to wear lipstick back then. So, but I said I was going to get myself in some lipstick. So, I don't know if you remember, but like back in 1991, I remember the year. Back in
I was
90,
born that year.
you were born? Oh my God.
I shouldn't have said that.
No. Okay. So I was in sixth grade or seventh grade, and mood lipsticks were the thing then. So it was a lipstick that it said that it would change colors based on your mood.
Oh,
A
so
lie.
basically, you got hot or cold.
Yes, it was a lie because it was always the same color.
Or either you was always warm blooded.
I guess I was like, how come this thing don't change to no color, but like it was like this blue, red, pink.
Mm-hmm.
So that lipstick doesn't come off. Okay. So I wore it all day, bopping around school, thinking I'm all that. When it's time to take it off, I go in the bathroom, try to take it off. It would not come off, Dawn. And I was like, oh my God, I'm dead. And my mom picked me up and she turned around and listened to about, excuse me, man, what are you doing? I was like, and she could tell that I was trying to take it off. Like my lips were literally like blistered, trying to scrub it off. It would not come off. I think it didn't come off for 2 days.
Wow, that was like a paint or
Yeah, it was
something.
like a paint. And my mom said, that's just what you deserve. See that mom talking about God punished me because I didn't listen to my mother. So that was my story. That was my first time wanting makeup. So that's why I was like, I wouldn't do that to if I had kids. My mom was like, I think kind of extreme when it came to makeup. She think everything should be natural, like nothing but lip gloss or chapstick. And I was like, Mom, you can't go to school with your face bare because you'll be laughed at. She didn't think so. She's like, don't care about what other people think. I wish I kind of had listened to my mom a little more. When you're young, you just want to be accepted. I was like, everybody's in makeup, and I'm the only one that doesn't get to wear makeup. But I think maybe that's why my skin is nice because I never touched makeup until I was 17 or 18.
I don't know. I was way older, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't like attention, so that's why I have makeup done once, well, twice. I'm not gonna lie. For home, what is it called, prom?
Prom?
And so each time people notice my makeup, like, oh, Dawn, you look so cute. And I'm like, don't look at me.
Yeah, you're like,
Don't look at me. And I think it's funny, even during that, like my self esteem was like up and down, but I really wasn't in big into peer pressure. That was like the one thing I'm like, my mama would kill me if I do this or if I would say this. So that was one of the things, like I had the fear of my mother where she had it through God. She would face this is God. And I'm like, I'm kind of scared if I come home, if I do something. So that's why, like, growing up, I'm like, I don't want to do all of this crazy type of stuff, but I do remember like feeling like, okay, you don't want to be seen because then that means, people are going to say something to you, which they did every time I would wear something different. They're like, oh, you look cute. I'm like, do I? Okay. I
yeah,
remember
I didn't
popping
like,
off the
I,
lashes at my school. My sister did individuals
oh,
for
really?
prom. And so I still had the lashes on when it came to Monday. And someone had noticed it and they're like, you look really good in lashes. One of this girl here, like Shanice. And I'm like, oh, really? Thank you. And I went to the bathroom and I literally plucked them out because I didn't want people to say
Oh,
nothing. Then one of my friends was like, what happened to your lashes? I'm like, I took them out, girls. People are noticing. She was like, something is wrong with you. I'm like, she's like, you're not supposed to pull them out because that's on your other lashes. I'm like, well, I did it and it didn't hurt. And so didn't have lashes for a while.
oh
So
my
even now,
goodness.
like when I do my own lashes, I like take them off. But I think it's funny. Back then, I felt like someone, if they wore makeup, they didn't feel beautiful. I'm like, why do you have to put on makeup to feel beautiful? Like, you must have low self esteem. And it's funny because, like, okay, I don't have the low self esteem. How can I tell someone they don't have good self esteem? So I remember being older and someone telling me, like, weren't you the person that didn't like makeup? Like, you would say something about people with makeup, but I'm like, well, it was me, but it was more like of the people I was around, like the churchy type of feel where you not supposed to wear that because it's not of God. And so now I'm like, it is what it is. Like mom's taking me, I'm like, Mom, this is what I'm wearing to your church. If they have a problem, then maybe I shouldn't be there. It's like, no, I want you to come, but can you put on some stockings? I'm like, no,
Oh,
I'm not putting on
that's
no
a whole
stockings.
nother thing. The stocking life.
The sheer, it has to be the sheer and the color of your skin. If you
It was not the color of your skin because it was ashy brown.
no,
Mm-mm.
and even now, my mom, she like apologized. She's like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, I understand you thought what was best, and she felt like what she kind of guarded us from. She's like, the world is crazy. To me, I feel like that was the best to do with y'all when it came to like what to expose y'all to, what for y'all to think what was acceptable, and like to me, I felt like, I mean, I'm not upset, but sometimes like, oh, I wish this had like I didn't have to think this way for especially when it comes to like how I view myself, because some of the stuff they don't know, they're just saying like this is the best, this is what I'm taught, and I want you to be confident in you. So I'm glad she always told me like beauty's inside. But like even though like the certain things like I wasn't beautiful, but I'm like, you know what, my mama said I'm beautiful, and it doesn't matter what's inside, and that's will be enough. And a lot with I started thinking, someone had told me don't wear your like when you walk with your head up. And it's funny that you said that because I was thinking for the longest I didn't want to get attention, but not even knowing because I had my head down, I was still bringing attention to myself. People would know, like, why is she always looking like something's wrong? Like, you know what I mean? She's smiling, but it's creepy. Like,
Yeah,
she's just
you're
like,
like,
you're not trying to be noticed, but you're being noticed in those moments. So when I got one of my not a coworker, she was like a boss. She was like, "You walk with your head high." I'm like, "Yeah, girl, I walk with my head." She's like, "Yes, because that's one thing I tell my daughter." I'm like, "If I had you as a mom, I would have been walking my head high. But I probably would have been like a little bit louder too, because she's like this loud." real fun lady. She was like, I don't like people who walk with their head down. And she would just walk with her legs slashed. And I'm like, okay, she got all of this energy. And so now when I walk, because sometimes I'm just looking down just to look, or I'm doing something, I like to make eye contact with people because I want them to know that, I see you, you may see me, and I want you to know that you can't walk over me because that translates in how you get, how people think they can deal with you when you go into work settings. That if you don't have confidence, they think they can say anything to you. They can make a narrative about you. And even though people are adults, they are childlike. And people think, oh, because someone is older or they have these positions that they're going to act accordingly. That's not the case. Like
Right.
just because your age or your number might say is one thing, but you might be childlike. So I always tell people, even if I'm around, I'm like, I'm confident. And what I say goes. I don't care about how people may view me. And they're like, don't. I'm like, I am here. If I'm wrong, I don't have a problem telling you that I'm wrong, but I'm here to do the best that I can do in the position that I have. And sometimes they're like, Don, maybe you shouldn't talk. People now people think that you can do all of these things. So I'll be Googling stuff like, how do I don't want people to think I'm dumb.
Yeah. I used to dress, I guess, outside of the box because I wanted to take attention off that I was poor or I had a really big gap in my teeth. Like I didn't want people to pay attention to that. I wanted to take the attention off of that and make them look at my clothes and don't look at my teeth and don't look at my eyes. That's why I always have worn glasses, even though I can wear contacts. I think even now, like I still have a complex about wearing my contacts. I think my glasses are to hide behind, you know, but that's just my
I'm
thing.
surprised you have your glasses now. I like when you have your eyes out.
Yeah, I have my eyes out like a bit. Sometimes I'll put in my contacts, but I don't know. It's just one of those things that it goes all the way back to my childhood. I really don't like to have the attention put on me. I think I was grown up that way. Like I'm not just I don't like the spotlight. I don't like the spotlight.
We're like the same in that regards, but opposite. I'm like when I come in, I want people to see me. It's Dawn. I'm like, don't act like I'm not here. Like I'm here somewhere. May not be the most
Yeah.
important, but you're gonna see me. They're like, Dawn, you because some people are like, oh, it can't be no way that you weren't ever like quiet or
Yeah, I
timid.
don't believe that.
And I'm like, I was the person that when my mom would come in the room, I would like be right behind her and I'll tip out and I'll look and they're like, oh, hey, Maxine. And I'm like, who's that? And they're like, oh, it's Patty. And I'm like, hi, hello. And one of my
So
friends was like, girl, you was never like quiet.
I have a question for you. Um, how do you want to be viewed? Like in general on YouTube, Instagram, like what do you want people to when they look at you and they see Dawn, how do you want people to view you?
I would say if someone want like how I want to be viewed as someone who is confident where she is now, but understand that I may develop into someone completely different later. I want to be authentic, so meaning everything I do. Like I always say, I want to stay unapologetically you, and people just think because you're someone who you are today, it may not shift, and your perception of you may not change. That's why I'm always like, it's going to be a glimpse, and I always want to constantly develop as a person, how I view people, how people view me. I want it to be love and passion. I want to stand for, you know, for what is the word I'm looking for? I always used to say body positivity, but I feel like they can go sometimes wrong. I want to stand for you being you in that moment and not feeling like you can be judged if you decide that that may not be you the next whenever you decide to as you mature. So I just want to be like a constant elevation of Dawn. So I want that's the view is that there I want you to evolve with me. I want you to be unapologetically you and all that you may possibly do, but I want you to understand that it's okay to evolve during that transition. So that would be like my view. I don't know if that's even a good answer, but that's what I have.
Very good answer, very good answer. You have a question for me?
I do. What does a positive body image mean to you?
Positive body image mean to me? Well, for me, because you guys know my backstory about my unhealthy journey in my body and my life. So I feel like a positive body image would be, first of all, a person being healthy. Don't try to be unhealthy to please other people or to portray something that you're not. Like, don't be anything other than who you are. If this is the way you are, then that's the way you are. Who cares what other people are doing and saying about you? What matters is you're healthy, you're taking care of yourself, you love yourself. That's the most important thing to me. Health over everything, not just physical health, emotional, spiritual, all health in general. Hi, Reap, what you sow? I feel like it has to be on all levels in life. You can't just be smile on your Instagram reel and then inwardly you're very unhappy and you're miserable. I believe in your emotional health is like of the highest importance because if you're not okay emotionally and mentally, you're not going to be okay physically. It kind of all trickles down inside of you. And I think like going into the phase of my life that I'm going into being a mature woman now, I feel like I want to portray the other young people in general, not just girls, also guys that don't really think about what is acceptable from society, other people, family members, your spouse, significant other, whatever. The most important thing is that you are taking care of yourself and you're loving yourself for who you are right now. And that's what I would like to portray. I feel like that's a good positive body image to show people that, okay, I got a muffin top. I'm okay with it. And if you would like my muffin top, then look the other way. I think like the older that you get, like when I was younger, like I like to cover my whole body, don't show anything. And then I went to the phase where I was showing everything. And then like now I'm to the point where I believe in portraying modesty, showing people like this is me, but you can cover yourself, be in clothing that looks good on you, but still look very attractive. So that's where I am right now.
You answered my second question. What would be your what advice would you give someone struggling with a body image, with their body image? You answered it in that question.
Oh, what advice? Well,
Would
I
you
think
give?
coming from having an eating disorder in my childhood, I feel like you can't feed your own mind and your own heart from what other people desire you to be. You can't be anything more than who you are. And I think that that's what I struggle with. I was always looking to other people. Well, they're taller, or they have more bust, or they have more butt, or they had this. So I was always looking at myself and not feeling complete. When I looked at myself in the mirror, that I had to look at myself and say, "This is who I am." Um, and I need to be satisfied with the way that I'm made. And if I don't like something, and if it's something in my ability that I can change through exercise, something like that to be healthier, then I will do that. But don't ever think that you should change yourself for other people. I don't believe in that at all. However you are, this is just the way I am. And if whoever doesn't like it, then that's their problem and it's not mine. And I feel like it takes time to come into that when you come into yourself, into that self-love part of yourself where you you're just being yourself. You're not trying to be like anybody else. That just yourself. And when you come to that, you're gonna be so happy. Because it's a whole different world for anybody who is not there. It's a whole different world to walk around with your head up when you used to be in a dark place where you always had your head down and you didn't even want to be alive anymore. It's a whole shift now. So I can speak to those people that it does get better. It does get better.
She gives us the best encouragement, y'all. Do you have another question for me?
Okay. Um, when you look at social media and the entertainment area, do you think that they represent your body image correctly?
Social media. and entertainment. I would say I would say yes and no. I feel like that that a lot of things in regards to social media they made, because now they do, even people with disabilities, they're now showcasing that as something to be normal and to be proud of who you are. So I feel like anyone who's ever had any type of issues, they've created a platform or an image for them, and so they're trying to keep these major platforms or advertisement or companies like, hey, this is how we view ourselves, and we want to get that, that same recognition from you, especially when we're the consumers. So I feel like growing up, even though like I was plus size, like, like the regular plus size, then I didn't ever see anyone looking like me. And so sometimes I'm like, okay, well, do I look, am I okay even for like, do I fit the normal plus size spectrum? So now I feel like there's so many different images of people, whether they're like, extremely tall, which I never knew that was a thing. Like, there was discrimination for someone who may be tall. Like, how is that even thinking? Like, well, yes, like I get things said to me, or certain things are not available for me when it comes to stores because I'm so tall. And so I think that I feel like there's always room for improvement, but I do think certain platforms do try to showcase different body images nowadays, especially with people having some people may not feel like their body is the body that should be in their regards, and they're like giving them a platform. So I do feel like that is evolving. I wouldn't say it's like there, because I feel like even me, like my image of my body changes daily. Like I want to make certain accommodations. So to me, I feel like it is. I don't really. It comes to a point like now where I don't worry about what's out there, because I want to make sure I'm secure how I think of myself. And so if I don't see it, then that's why I feel like it's my responsibility to bring attention to it and then show it on any type of platform that I may have. So I would think it's there some way, shape, or form, but I don't get so consumed with it as I used to. So I really don't even know what's out there in regards to like big publications. But I know when I go on social media, I follow people who either resemble or verify, not verify, validity, no. Like kind of like show the same things that I like. So I don't follow somebody who may not show positivity, or if they look like me, like, oh, this person, they kind of have the same body shape as me, I'm going to follow them. Or if it's businesses, I'm following places. So whenever the algorithm does pick up, I'm seeing these people that kind of look like me, or either show items that I would like. So I don't really kind of see anything other, unless I just follow somebody just because I like them, they're a celebrity. I don't even start follow. I have 10 celebrities I follow, and I feel like if I give someone, to me, I don't follow anyone just for. I don't want to see. I have no problem with anyone who want to like be naked, but like if that's what your thing is, I don't want to follow a whole bunch of people showing their bodies all the time. Like I don't look like them. Like why am I following someone who may be the Instagram model like that? Like I don't look like them. Why am I following them? And some of the things they may do, I may not morally think that is something I want to do. I'm not trying to judge them, but I'm not also going to entertain that part. Someone may feel the same way about me, or either someone I may follow. And that's the good thing. You can pick and choose what you want to entertain. So I entertain what I like, or what I view as to be the image that I would think that my category, like I would fit in their category. And so I just leave it at that. I don't even get, worried about, you know, everything on social media, or even when it comes to like the mainstream publications or companies. I feel like they show what they can. So, and then you got to think people have, the people that are over these boards, they may not deem everything, like I know for a moment, um, they didn't really even talk about people who may have had like disabilities if it didn't, if it wasn't about like veterans. So now to see that individuals who have disabilities, now they get to be like a model, or like be in these programs and these like in like the advertisements. I think that's awesome. And even when they have different looks, like for the longest, if you did see like a black family, you would see it with maybe like a mixed woman, or either if you seen like someone who's a black woman, you would see it with like a white dad. If they did show those like multiracial type of families, now you get to still could you have like it may be a full black film. You get to see Latinos, you get to see like Hispanics, which is the same as Latinos, or like other ethnicities, whether it's maybe like of Asian descent. So I think that people are trying to like get in their companies, trying to like show different views of different people, how they may look. Because for the longest, I didn't know that some of these other cultures felt like they weren't being represented. I'm like, oh, I guess because I'm thinking, you know, we're not being like we're not getting representation. I never really thought how you may feel. I know with people of Asian descent, they feel like there's no representation with them online at all. And not until one of my YouTube friends, I can't think of her full name right now, but her name was Cherry. She said there's no one on here that's of a high caliber that's Asian or even some type of Asian descent. And if they are, they don't tell people they're Asian. They're mixed with something. If they are mixed, like you're still Asian, they won't say I'm Asian. It's like, okay, I'm just this person. She's the only person that she's ever seen was this man named Patrick Starr, and he's like the only big Asian, American out there. And she feel like there's no representation of someone who's a woman or different ages. Like you have to do something that's like kind of like extreme, like to show something like like items, but she don't see anyone like in the beauty or either like lifestyle. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? I do think that people should push for more representations, whether it fits inside, skin, body wise. So I think that it's there. People are trying. I think that for me, I see my image in other on social media, but I always want to make sure I share out other people, what their struggles may be inside their area of wanting to see representation for them.
Yeah. You have one for me?
Oh, I do. Okay, I have, it's kind of like a follow up, my extra question. I said, when you look in the mirror, what is your first thought that you have?
What is my first thought that I
Like when
have?
you look in the mirror, like what is that first thought of affirmations that you have for yourself?
Oh, that's changed over time. It's funny because like when I was like a little girl, like preteen, I used to look at myself and I used to be like I would see like the flaws in myself. Oh, I wish I had this, what this. But now when I look at myself, I feel comfortable in my skin to say that I've grown into myself. Like I look in the mirror and I like what I see. So it's a whole different thing where I used to before put my flaws and now I can see the beauty within myself from the inside.
That's a true testament. I've known where, like, when I was looking up like stuff with body image, that there was this article that talked about that if you feel something is wrong with you or you don't like how you look, what is that positive affirmation do you say for yourself? It's like you pick off like I don't like this, but like I love this. So sometimes people would say, okay, I don't like that my cheeks are big, but I love that when I smile my teeth may glint, or like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I remember putting up sticky notes of like
Mhm.
things that what I wanted to see, even though it's something I may not have thought of. So when I was like a teenager, I would put stuff up like in my little mirror. I would post it because sometimes you do need those positive affirmations, even if you don't believe like I'm beautiful or believe that you are smart. Like sometimes you do need those positive affirmations for yourself because it took a long time to like look in the mirror and be like, okay, I'm happy with the person I am. But there are things that I will, if I did want to change, I know that it's acceptable. Sometimes it starts mentally, and people just think, oh, if I get these surgeries, that I'm just going to feel beautiful. And you don't know that that's like how you said it's an inward thing. Like you feel validation within yourself. So I think that that's like an awesome thing to have that you even said that like you never know. Like it's an inward thing to feel more confident. That's all. And that's all you like. That's a mind thing, and people think that, oh, I want to look beautiful, but it's a lot of people who people may think like how you were saying like they'll get the perfect person that don't feel how they may look, and so I think that's amazing that sometimes that over time, like I can't wait to like when I get a little bit older because I'm
Mhm.
almost older. I feel like I'm almost 30. I feel like when I turn 30,
Well,
I want to. I'm 29, and I said that when I turn 30. I feel like, because someone told me, Riley, don't laugh at me. They said when I turn 30, my outlook on life is going to change. I'm like, is it? So I'll have so much pressure on 30 now. I'm like, when I turn 30, I
Uh,
better look up and
Mine
be
was a
like,
little older. I think mine was a little older than 30. I think mine was like 32, 33. I don't know. It was like an overnight thing. Like, not that I didn't love myself, but like when I was got to be 33, I was like, girl, you're looking good. Like, I mean, like not not like I'm showing off, but like I started to feel good. Like you wake up in the morning to like, yes. It wasn't like before how like you'd be like, oh, look at that, look at my skin, look at this. No, that all changed. Like your confidence changes the older that you get. I guess that's the mature part of yourself. When you step into a boy, there's no looking back.
so I can't wait for that moment. It's like,
Yeah.
darn,
You don't care about things like before I used to, oh, I don't want to be in this size of jeans. And like I would try to stuff myself into into like jeans. I was like, no, I'm just like, I need two bigger sizes. Like it doesn't even phase me. Like before I used to try to squeeze myself into stuff. No, no, ma'am. I was like, I need a bigger size. Like, and it doesn't even phase me. Like before, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm this size now. Like, no, I was just like, it's like I've been enjoying myself. Did I answer your question?
I'm
Oh,
trying to make sure because I feel like you was answering other questions within your questions. What
oh,
did
you'll get there over plus size. She says she can't wait for her to reach that moment. Everybody, it takes time to get there, but you'll get there. I think it comes with situations in your life. Like, I wouldn't say it's difficulties, but I think after you overcome like major things in your life, then it changes like for different people. Like some people it's when they get married, some people when they have kids, some people when they get a certain job, some people it's after they travel for a while. Mine was after my parents passed. It changed everything for me. So because like before I used to depend on my parents for things, but then when you don't have them anymore, it's like now I have to go inwardly. Yeah.
that's a true testament. But I'm putting all my bucks on 30. So when I don't get a
You put all
30,
your books. So I'm gonna have that conversation with you when you turn that.
I'm a
You
DM
trying to
you
bring
like Marlene.
money.
I'm ready for
Want
this
to
moment of
know.
feeling like I'm she. I have my last question I would like to ask you is what is something that makes you feel good about your body when it comes to others? I have it's like a make you something that make you feel good or worse about your body, and when it comes to how others portray you, like what is something that makes you feel good, and then if worse, like how do you feel?
Thing that makes me feel good.
Like when you look like okay, this makes me like that validation for you.
I look at my body. I think my thing. I've always had an issue with my very large eyes since I was a little girl. Because I look around, I haven't seen nobody who look like me. My whole family, we all have the eyes, and I was like, well, why am I the only person with these large eyes? Like, and I used to hate it, and then it's like now, I like that's what makes me stand out and feel unique. So that's what I do now versus then. Like I used to like really hate that my eyes were so big, but now I feel like that's my uniqueness, and I'm happy about it. Hi, you can talk your way. Yeah, Bree said after she had kids, she gained confidence related to body confidence. She said she's gonna watch the replay. Okay, you can talk your way, Ruth. Yeah, but like when I think my start to self love and body image started around 17. So when did yours start, Dawn?
Um, I would say it would have to be more of a recent thing than anything with me being younger. I would say once I graduated college, but it's not too
Oh
far.
wow.
It was 2020 ish. Because all even between then, I felt like there was a constant, like I said, I will put validations up, but it was more of me trying to like push towards those goals and feel about myself. Cause I I feel like even now it's like it's more of every day I'm trying to feel more confident in the skin that I'm in. So I feel like it's more recently. Like when I was young, I didn't have no good like view of me because I felt like I looked different than everybody else. Even though like I tell my friend who's in here, I'm like, I felt like no one knew how I felt. She's like, girl, calm down. I'm like, you just don't know. I felt so secluded, like in this world, that I felt like I was just different. I might have not been, but I feel like, okay, if there's someone that did look like me, that they had something else I didn't have to make them better. So like not until I got older, where when I went to school, like out of my parents' home, did I start trying, like I started building more confidence in who I was, because I really didn't know like who was Dawn, how Dawn should dress, what was acceptable. When people, my biggest thing was if someone said I couldn't do anything or something didn't, fit me, not like clothes, but like something that fit Dawn, like that doesn't look like you, like that's not you, then it became my mission to prove them wrong. So like that was like that's probably the only reason why I constantly developed. I always wanted to prove somebody wrong. Like I can do this, or I can be vocal, or I can look a certain way, or I can be confident in what I'm in. So I feel like it's like a constant. Like I said before, like I'm just constantly going through the elevation of Dawn. So it's really recent, from like within like the last 9 years. So
9 years.
adulthood. So it was like, I don't even think I'm 20. I keep forgetting I'm 29. I still feel
Oh,
like
well,
I'm
you're
like I'm
so old.
21.
Not old. Stop that.
But you know when you were 29 and like two, you was like, oh, then you kind
Like,
of like,
I
okay,
used
that
to be
wasn't
like,
that
oh my
bad.
God, I'm getting up there.
I remember not like, can't wait to be 21. So, like when I'm 21, people gonna know I'm a woman. Like they can't tell me I can't do nothing. I can get a car. I can rent something.
No, I used to be like, every time I was like 21, I was like, you need to see my ID? Because I'm all of 21 now. They'd be like, no, I don't need your ID. I think you do. Here you go. Over plus size says that she always had an issue with her legs. Now that I understand more conditions, I am no longer ashamed about people staring or asking about my legs. Yeah, I think everybody has their thing. Everybody has something um about their body that they would like to change, or something that you don't like. But just embrace it. Whatever it is, if it's something that you can change through exercise or healthier means, then do that. Like my dad used to always say, don't complain about something if you're not willing to change it. And I've taken that on now that I'm stepping into my own. If I'm not going to change it, then stop complaining about it. Either
And then it can always be that if you can't change it, then learn to
embrace.
love it. Because a lot of things, like how you say, like when you had to learn, like with your eyes, like I think your eyes are beautiful. That it's like you can't change your eyes; those are your eyes. Like that's what God gave you to be unique. So that beauty is yours.
I wanted to take them out, Don. I used to be researching. I'm so stupid. When I was younger, I tried to research getting an eye transplant.
Oh no. Okay,
I
you know who sound
did.
like, what's that girl name? Tiny. When she permanently changed her eye color and people was like, what in the world? I'm like, what? I don't have a problem with contacts. But I'm like, is that even legal to take out your eyes? Like,
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get smaller eyes, like smaller eyes that was not big like the ones that I have. But I'm
do
like,
you know that some people of Asian descent, they have the smaller eyes, they get surgeries to cut it to make their eyes bigger.
what?
It's a thing. I'm gonna send you the young lady's YouTube that talked about it, where she said culturally that you weren't cute unless you had bigger eyes, and so they had this surgery that they cut
Wow.
like the slit so they could make your eyes bigger, because like they always had smaller eyes. But I'm
Mhm.
like, it's just eyes, like, but it's like a thing.
Yeah, it's
So
a
where
thing.
certain people, they get the surgery so their eyes can look a little bit more. I
Wow.
guess, opened.
Well,
Hopefully it has small eyes.
that gives me a whole different way of thinking at it now. 'Cause when I was younger, boy, I couldn't stand. I was like, "Why are my eyes so big? My God!" I used to look at myself and, "My God, these are large eyes. Why did you make me this way? Why do you make me stand out?" But now it's I think it's one of my best assets.
Because lately I've been following, because I told you, like, some people with disabilities, I want to understand more. Sometimes people fear things they don't know because they don't know, like, why things are the way that they are when it comes to other people and their features. I started following these girls who was combined twins, and so they were separated. So now they don't have, because they have, each twin had a leg. So now they have one leg, and they started a YouTube and they just talk about like their daily, like when it comes to how they view them and how they now feel confident who they are, because like this, I mean, this is how my situations turned out, and I want to feel beautiful, and I do feel beautiful in the skin that I am. So I do like when people like make those platforms and then give people encouragement, because like how oversized plus, like, when you don't know why certain things are they are, it's like, okay, well, something wrong with me. You can't change everything when it comes to like body wise. It just is what it is. And then some people have conditions. My brother, he was born with a tumor on his face. And so for the longest, it wasn't like deadly or anything like that. He had this lump, and so people will make fun of him. So from that, if you ever knew my brother right now, you would have never known. Like, he said that one thing no one was going to talk about him. He wasn't going to feel like something was wrong with him. But he said he still had issues. Like, of course, he's a kid. Like, he wanted to be, like, known. He would get into fights all the time. He would get in trouble. Mom, like, why are you getting in so much trouble? And he wasn't telling them. They were making fun of me, and I wasn't going to allow them to, pick on me. And so I got in a fight. So he would just say they were talking smack. That's what he would say. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? So he would, when he got older, he ended up getting surgery on his face. And so now I asked him, I'm like, how did you really feel? He was like some days I did feel like subconscious about he said that's the first thing someone want to ask is something on your body that's visibly, different. Someone wants to inquire about it. So he would get multiple questions. He said he would make up stuff about it, but he would get sympathy from some people that didn't know it's a tumor, but it wasn't deadly. So like it's like these tumor pieces in his side where it kind of bulged out, so it was big, and so he ended up getting a surgery to get it like lays down. And
Mm-hmm.
so like now I'm like, okay, you know what? He was able to do something about it, but even if it was to this day, he feels like he would have still been confident if he would have had that lump, because he had went through so much stuff as a kid with getting teased, and like he was probably the most popular person out of our family. I've never met someone who people looked up to for him. I'm like, how did you have so many? He was just like people when they seen that I was vocal and that I was confident, even though I had what was going on with me. People just wanted to be around me, my personality. I'm like, I don't even know how that happened. And even like with my dad, he has a skin. He has some bad clippers, so the back of his head has like this scar. And so one of my friends, she knows it, when I was younger, people would always point his head. And that's why even now, like, I don't get mad, or if I see, like, if my nephews, they're looking, they don't know. So it's up to us as adults to let them know what's acceptable to do. Like, hey, that's not cool. This is the reason why that this person may look different than you. You have to understand that it's not acceptable to make fun of someone, nor to make them feel uncomfortable because you feel like they look different. So
Right.
I do think that like that's like the biggest thing I have now, like trying to, like, even if I'm not, like, even if I'm mentally not mature to understand something, I'll still like to research things when it comes to like certain diseases. Like if someone looks different, I want to know what is that? Like I want to be able to be knowledgeable about what's going on with someone, so that way I'm not ignorant if a conversation come up. Especially like I love YouTube. YouTube has so much develop. Like you can find anything on here. It can
Right.
be like some type of diagnosis. I be diagnosing myself. It may be wrong sometimes. if I want to find encouragement, if I want to know about certain things, about issues. I feel like YouTube has been like a great platform for everybody, even us giving us this opportunity to talk. Like, if we would have never had a platform like this, we wouldn't be able to have conversations. And you opened up a door for other people to have those conversations with different type of topics, which is amazing. So I'd like to, say thank you to you again for that part.
Oh, thank you, Dawn. Yeah, I really appreciate you being part of the panel today. And I just want to talk to everybody, those who are watching now, those who watch on the replay. Um, but you can't really change your body if there's something in your body image that you don't like about yourself. You can't change that, and you also can't control what other people do and say about you, but you can control what you think about yourself. That is within your power, that's within your grasp. So you have to learn to go inward into yourself and love the person that you are. Love the person that you can become, the present and the future you. You can make changes. You can make changes within yourself. It's all within your grasp. So love the person that you are today so that you can portray that into the future and you can affect another generation of young men and young women and let them know that it's okay. However you are, it's okay and you're loved and acceptable and you have something to offer to other people in the future. That's what I want to share with everybody. And you can take your way to healthier relationships is when you have a beautiful spirit or a great personality, our differences begin to disappear. That's so true. I think that's the thing that I wanted to run away from. I didn't want to really talk a lot when I was younger, being a shy person. I didn't want to talk a lot. I didn't want to be in the spotlight because I have so many siblings and other people and lots of stuff is always going on. So I wanted to let other people appear in the spotlight, but there comes a time where you have to stop being afraid and step into the spotlight and be yourself because you have something that you need to offer as in your gifts and your talents or your lessons. You have something to share with somebody. So stop being afraid to speak up for yourself and to teach somebody something that you've been through. You never know. You're sharing your lesson, your story, your personal truth can help somebody to go on another day and to feel the love and the light within themselves. You were saying something, Dawn?
Oh no, I was picking up my tablet.
Oh,
I
okay.
can see the comments.
Yeah. So I just want to encourage everybody. I don't know where you are in your personal journey in your life, what you have been through, what you're going through at the present, whether you're working, you're not working, you're retired, you're whatever it is. But don't allow others, especially people in your family, to body shame you or to make you feel inferior in any type of way. Nobody has the right to make you feel like you're less. You are not less. You have a purpose in this life. You have something to share. You have a gift and a talent. So don't be afraid to showcase that. Step into your own. Love the person that you are because you have a gift and a talent to share. And if nobody tells you today that you are loved, I'm telling you today, you're loved and you have a talent and a gift and a blessing. So stop being afraid to use it.
Yes, I agree. I second that.
You second the motion.
Second that motion.
Yes. So, do you have anything you want to add, Dawn?
I guess the only thing I could think to add after Marlene did that nice speech, just like I have to like, okay, Don, I guess something that's gonna be profound. I guess I would like to say that I guess all is worthy, all is capable, and you are worthy enough for love. So I would just say if you don't feel like that you do have that positive body image for yourself, I would always say if you can't change it, just learn to love it. Put those positive affirmations up and continue to follow, people like Marlene that gives those positive daily affirmations that she sometimes give us. Be grateful for this life that we live. And I guess it's always someone who has those distorted images about themselves. So I say, don't try to have comparison of who you are to someone else, because someone may be dealing with something that may be 10 times worse than what you are, what you may think and view about yourself. So just kind of like just dwell in the moment of you, try to give those positive affirmations again. And then if you do feel like you can't, like if you do need assistance, I will always say, find if you can find someone or find professional help, that it's okay to go to get counseling. It's okay to go and find outside source of help. If you feel like the friends that you maybe sometimes can be the people that you're around that's not giving you that a positive outlook on life, sometimes we have to change the scenery, which I've seen it multiple times again, where people that may be with you that you may have had from the past may not still be good for you in this present moment of life, and they could be a part of those unhealthy habits that you have, where it could be mentally, physically, and emotionally. So I say, sometimes switch up the scene if you have to. But I would most definitely continue to try to be you in all that you do. I mean, and if you don't feel like, I would say, make a board of who I want to be mentally, physically, and emotionally. And just know sometimes those physical things you may not be able to change. If it's one of those things that you can't, work on that inner self. So work on that self, that inner you, kind of build that up and make it strong, so that way people can know that when you walk out the door, you are confident, you are worthy of love and admiration from all. And if no one else don't feel that way, just know that these two people up here feel that you are worthy enough for love, you are worthy enough, you are beautiful, whether someone told you that you are or not today, that you are. Just know to go out there with confidence. If you don't have the confidence, fake it until you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it until you make it.
Yes, and you can talk your way to healthier relationships. Said something good
Mm-hmm.
in the comments. She says that we have to stop letting others' opinions of us define us.
That is a true statement.
True statement. If I could pin it, I would pin that comment, because I think a lot of times that's what holds us back is we let what other people think, or people shaming you or making you think that you should be doing X, Y, and Z, and that's not even something that you even want to do. But sometimes we do things based on to make other people happy, and not really doing things that we want to do, walking in our personal truth. So don't be afraid to just be who you are and to work within your purpose, because each one of us has a purpose and a plan in this life, but it's up to us to walk in it every day. So I thank Dawn for being a part of the panel, for being my co-host for this Sunday talk. So for all those who don't know, who came in later, tell them about your channel again and when you post, what you do on your channel, Dawn.
My channel again is delightful_Dawn. It promotes body positivity, reviews, makeup, everything in between. So it's basically going through the life of Dawn at this moment. So, if that's something you're interested in, feel free to come over. I would love to have you.
Yes, and join her on Instagram
Oh,
and
yes.
me as well. My Instagram is underscore best life crew, and yeah, and then this channel, you can subscribe to that as well. I think I linked your channel in the video, the preview video. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll link that again when this video uploads. So I welcome everybody. And if anybody has something that they want to talk about, sometimes you may not even want to share this for everybody to read. So don't be afraid to reach out to me. My email is underscore is bestlifecrew at mail.com, mail.com. So you can reach out to me and we can talk that way. It's okay to have conversations with somebody. You just may need some encouragement, and I'm here to talk to you, and we can talk anonymously. So I welcome everybody. So thanks everybody for being here. I hope you enjoyed the conversation and the Sunday talks today with my host. Thank you,
Thank you
Dawn.
for having me.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So So thanks to everybody. And I'll see you next time, Dawn. We're going to do an update. Remember, after 30, right?
Yes. June June 11th. That's when I turn 30.
Okay. So I'll be waiting for that. Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. So thank you, everybody, for joining me for Sunday Talks. Those who are here with me live, those who are watching in the replay, thanks for watching to the end. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and I appreciate everybody's comments. When you guys leave me comments on my videos, I enjoy that so much. It really makes me feel good. It makes me feel like walking. I'm walking in my purpose and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing because I enjoy this. I love what I do. I love being here on YouTube. I love that I can encourage even one person to love themselves, to get over a hump, a struggle, a difficulty. Whatever it is that you're going through, just know you're not alone in this life. A lot of times we can feel like we're alone struggling in our problems, but you're not. You're not alone. And if you guys want to reach out to me through email, Instagram, or even on here, I'm available. And I will talk to you guys on the next Sunday Talks. And tomorrow I'm going to have a dose of positivity uploaded. It will be Monday's motivation. And you guys can check out all those who are in the comment section below. I got a lot of great YouTubers here. You can talk your way to healthier relationships. Delightful underscore Dawn, Fun with the Girls, Bozo Calvin Jr., um, Scorpion was in here a little earlier. Reap what you sow. Got a lot of positive people here, loyal people, and I want you guys to know I appreciate them. I appreciate everybody who's a part of my channel. I thank you for helping me to grow and to glow up. I appreciate that. So I'm going to tell you every single time. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your evening. And as I say, every single video and live stream, my best life crew affirmation, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life. See you guys next time. Bye.